Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the DC Multiverse Collector's Edition, quote-unquote Collector's Edition. This time around, not a Platinum Edition of a Collector's Edition. That's overly redundant, isn't it? Batman vs. Abyss. Well, it sure as hell ain't Batman, and he doesn't dress like the Grim Reaper. That said, anyone else getting Phantasm vibes from this guy? Either way, no matter what the hell he's cosplaying as or going out for on Halloween as, this figure right here is brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. And of all the collector's editions, is one of my more preferred characters and or figures out of that whole thing. I really liked the Hawkman from the second wave, as well as the Firestorm? Not Firestar. Firestar is Marvel, right? I always get those two mixed up because they're both fire-based. They both have the same color palette, and they both have fire something that starts with an ST with an R in it in their name. So, sorry if I get my characters confused sometimes. I'm only human, right? But yesterday, we took a look at the Superman, the quote-unquote Action Comics #1 Superman, and that figure left a little bit to be desired. Not terrible. I think it's pretty, mid to average for a McFarlane Toys figure, even if it was only $20. But this guy, he's an all-new buck, and aside from some looseness, I do really like this figure. So I'm going to get that out of the way. That said, it sure as hell ain't worth no $30. So, again, these collector's editions not really feeling like collector's editions. Like, I don't want to start paying an extra $10 for new sculpts when, they still only charge like $20 to $25 for other characters with new sculpts that are debuting at that price point. You know what I'm saying? That said, as far as accessories that are of any use to good old Abyss here, he does come with a very aggressive looking open hand here. I guess that could be a turn your head and cough hand. Oh yeah. But he only comes with one, which sucks because this is a really nice sculpt. This is like one of the first kind of open hands on a McFarlane figure that doesn't look like it has severe arthritis or carpal tunnel. It's very well sculpted. Like, this is a hand I would expect to see on one of the Black Lanterns or the Vampire Dudes. Either way, he also comes with his double-bladed sickle scythe thingy, which I'm sure he spins and chops 6 dudes' heads off because that's PG rating, right? That said, you can actually break this apart in the middle. It's just it's a keyed peg, so you can't put it in any other way. But that's cool. I had to heat up the end with the peg on it, this one, and straighten it out. But as you can see, it's straightened out. Hopefully it stays that way. All I did was heat it up with a hairdryer for about 10, maybe 20 seconds. Then I used the cool air, and then I stuck it in the freezer for a couple hours, and there you go. That said, it was bent like almost sideways out of package. So I'm sure there's a ton of them like that. It's nothing worth going through customer service for, but there you go. It's his scythe weapon. And then we have his collectible trading card in the collectible trading card stand that is absolutely useless junk. But there's a bio on the back you can pause and read at your own leisure. If you want to know more about Abyss, because to me he seems like a Phantasm ripoff. And it seems to me like we're getting a lot of Phantasm ripoffs and no Phantasm. Like, where's that? I know DC Collectibles gave us a really nice 6-inch scale one, but I like to see McFarlane's take on that. Hell, I would have liked to have seen Mattel's take on that, but they gave us that red and black dude from, is it Batman Year 1 or 2? The Reaper? The Reaper! It's a good song by the metal band Witchery, for those of you into some underground, like, I don't know what you want to call them, thrash? Death metal? I don't know. But taking a closer look at a guy who kind of looks like he jams some death metal. Let's come to the hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases, with the DC logo stamped on there quite nicely. This guy's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I really like him. I think he's cool looking. He's got this cloak here. Now, the Platinum Edition of this guy, he's got like the white hood and cape. I don't really care for that. It's way too much like Taskmaster for my taste. I do like this, though. The all-black look is really cool. Oh, does he got paint on the underside of this? That's crazy. At least feels different. Looks like there's red paint under there. Oh, interesting. He's got the hooded kind of skull mask head. I don't know if you can see that very well. It is very dark. But I will say, again, with the looseness, this leg, you can see there that between the detents, it's got a little bit of a flop there. But it's not really floppy, it's just a little weeble wobble. And I'm sure over time that might stiffen up because he was posed in the package. This leg's pretty solid, though. But as far as articulation goes, this is a new buck. He can look up and down a little bit. Hindered a lot by the hood, which sucks, but almost feels like I could take this thing off, this hood. I'm curious if it's just keyed under his head there, because it feels like I could take the hood off and just have him with his helmet, but I'm not going to do that. His shoulders are on those disc hinges, but they are hindered by the cape, unfortunately. That's how it is. I'm sure you could heat this and soften it a little bit. Oop. And kick the camera. That's possible. But you can raise his arm about that far on that side. How far on this side? Raise it a little more on the other side, but it's about even. You can rotate it forward and back. It does have that butterfly in there, but you can't really utilize it that much. Yeah, it's not budging on either side as far as that goes. So I would just stick to the rotation. It does have a bicep swivel. It has a double elbow that works fine. Crunches up all the way there. And wait a minute, hold on, new sculpt, I gotta check. Oh, he's got a little tiny cliff of Dover there. I'm not gonna count that though. That's not horrible. He is armored after all. It could just do that. He has the ball hinge wrists. Do that. I did have to heat up this hand to get it on. He was originally packaged with this Celestial booty hand, but this one. You see it? I don't know. Eyesight sucks. What can I say? But he was originally packaged with that one, so I put the other grip hand on because I want him to dual wield his scythe weapons. That's just cool, man. Dual wielding scythes. Who does that? This guy apparently. His torso can lean back that far. Excuse me. Holy crap. That was sponsored by Gatorade. That burp. Can crunch that far forward. He can actually lean forward quite a bit with just the diaphragm joint, and it's not loose on him. It's not the tightest thing ever, but it's not loose. He can lean side to side and rotate, as you just saw, and then he's got the ball joint in the waist as well. You can see that this is just a cover here, and he does get a little bit of lean out of the waist. As well as some rotation. It's just a little tight. Let me actually double check that and make sure it's not like stuck or something. I think it's just because I'm holding that, really. Yeah, that's all it was. It was because I was holding this thing here, which you can see it's a sock. It's literally like a sock piece. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's working. See, I don't know how to move shit because I'm stupid. His legs can kick forward and back. They kick out. Nice crunchy hips, I think, on both sides. No thigh cut to speak of. I'm not even gonna bother with that. Yeah, nice crunchy legs. This hip's a little loose forward and back, but I can live with that. The knee, again, it's double jointed. It is very, very crunchy. Indeed. There you go. No real cliffs of Dover going on. It's just kind of flat. And he's got the swivel in the knee, which is nice because it gives him a thigh cut, essentially, and it's nice and hidden. And then as far as the feet go, I'm not sure which one they use. They're the ball hinges we're used to seeing. They're nice and tight, which is good. But, man, they're kind of scary to move. Yeah, see, you can... Got really poppy ankles. The other side's even more so. And then the toe joint. It's decent, I will say, on both sides. I mean, this was the ankle rocker that was really kind of loud. I don't know if I can get it to... And it seems to have loosened a tiny bit, but earlier I kind of didn't want to mess with that. So there is Abyss in all of his spooky glory. Spooky Halloweeny-ass glory. Cool figure. I like him. I wish mine's one hip wasn't a little loose and this knee wasn't a little wobbly, but, you know, all the joints work on him. And when posed, he does stiffen up a little bit. I don't know if it's because that's how he was posed in the box, but I can only assume maybe that's why. But there you go. There is Abyss, a new character to my understanding. It does feel like that knee is not straight. This knee, because of the knee pad there. I can't tell. But a new character to my understanding. I'm not sure what he is necessarily capable of other than looking really badass. So, you know, looks are one thing. Being an actual good character is another. But there he is leaning against the backdrop there. Just so he stands up for us. There we go. Now his head's not cut off, but he's also not centered. Which you guys know drives my OCD up the freaking wall. Alright, that's centered enough. But that's Abyss in a nutshell, guys. I don't know enough about this character to talk about him anymore, so we're just going to cut right to the chase. Move right along to some size comparisons. First up, here is Abyss in the death metal voice alongside the other figures in this very first wave of collector's edition figures from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. You have the Action Comics #1 Superman, air quotes, Action Comics #1 Superman, as well as Alan Scott Green Lantern, both very classic, while Abyss is very modern and very tall. I didn't expect him to be freakishly tall like he is, but on top of being super stylized, he is super tall compared to the other characters in this wave. I wonder how he stacks up to wave 2. Maybe he's as tall as Firestorm with a little flame on his head, but getting these two out of here. So we can bring in our two regulars, because it wouldn't be one of my videos without it. But the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibolith. It's all the way over there for some reason. And the infamous Eleven Spawn. And yes, Abyss does kind of look like the Curse, if the Curse went all AC/DC Brian Johnson era on us and came out back in black. That was terrible. What the hell, man? I can do a better King Diamond than that. That said, since we have good old Al Simmons here, it would make sense to get a Batman to go with this Abyss, right? I remember seeing something about a 2-pack with this dude. I don't know whatever came of that, but I hope we get a Batman to go with him, because he is super stylized, like the White Knight figures, and it'd suck if he was the only one we got. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up. Some final thoughts. overall, and even though I don't know jack or shit about good old Abyss here, I really like this figure. I think he's super duper cool. I mean, he is a Grim Reaper ninja guy with dual scythe weapons that combine, after all. And a booty molestation hand. But that's besides the point. He's just cool looking, man. I like cool looking shit. Speaks for itself. Look at my intro. But, yeah, I would recommend this one. Out of all the figures in this first wave of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Collector's Edition figures, I think this one is probably my favorite. Yeah, he's a skeleton guy. Super biased. But I like him, and I like the stylized look. It's kind of anime-esque. I think that's kind of neat. I was a sucker for that Azrael from the White Knight subline a few years ago. The first year of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, right? So, of course, I'm going to like this. I like a little bit of animated, articulated stuff once in a while, and this is something different. I hope we get a Batman to go with him, because he's kind of all by himself, is lonesome, so hopefully they'll remedy that someday. Again, they did show a 2-pack with what looked to be a reused Year 2 Batman. Maybe they're retooling that, making a Batman that actually makes some damn sense to go with this figure, but only time will tell, I guess. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this review, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.